Initiating System 1. System 1 loaded.
The GoreCast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the Station of Decapitation Without Your Head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
What's up, GoreCasters? Welcome back here to the GoreCast on Thursday for myself and my homies, my boys from the Horror Hood, where we do our group chat, where we take what is customarily quite a long show and make it a little bit longer.
Also, this time it's just in one part, though.
Just in, fingers crossed.
Okay.
Is the best way. I never like to go.
Okay, look.
Tuesday show got
Newbie,
kicked
what's going
off,
on, dude?
so we had to
And
do
Travis,
something.
what's going on in the chat as well? Howdy.
Hi, newbie. Hi, Raj.
Hi, people. Welcome to the show.
So the plan for today is we're doing for our group chats on the Thursdays. We're doing the all of our individual Halloween recommendations of some good movies to stick on Halloween night. I'm doing a kind of a, while there's quite good horror movies to stick on Halloween night anyway, they are very much music infused, so that if you're having a bit of a Halloween shindig, or there won't be any Halloween parties because the whole world seems to be going back in lockdown again. So if you're having a,
You can have online parties.
yeah, if you're having a Halloween box social, maybe, you know, with four to five people, or a shindig. I think a shindig is under 10.
Online Halloween viewing parties, perhaps.
Yeah, well, essentially, in the background of a party, they will work also as a soundtrack for keeping your party lively. Especially Queen of the Damned, which will be the first movie, because it is essentially
Yeah, I am a fan
just
of
several
Shindig.
music videos stitched together with a movie in between them. Yeah, shindig. Do you not have
That's
shindigs over in?
I thought Americas were shindigs
Oh
were
no,
born.
Shindig is where
I
it came
just,
from.
I just like the word.
Shindig.
It's a fun
Yeah,
word
like
to
I'm
say.
just a fan of the fucking
Yeah,
word.
It was
Doesn't
a
make
very
any
good fire.
sense.
I think it's
Love
appropriate by number.
Shindig was a very good Firefly episode.
Every Firefly was a very good Firefly episode. Let's be fucking straight. Don't be talking crazy. God.
I'm not
The
talking
next thing
crazy.
you're going to start having is a hootenanny. Now
No,
that's,
you see, with lockdown restrictions, you can't have
There
a
you go.
hootenanny. That's too many people.
that's
She
a
ain't
down
having no
shelf.
fun with that.
Shindig or a box social, I think, is where it's at.
What is a box social? Is that everyone sitting inside
It's
in a
about
box
5
social?
people less than a shindig.
Noted.
4 people more than a.
A little bit more
So I
civilized.
bet you guys didn't think you were going to be tuning into the program, learning about the definitions of different
about
gatherings.
4 people-
Well,
Are you
that's
kidding?
what
It's
At
about
this
4
stage-
people more than a couple,
at this
and
stage,
it's
I'd say
about
people don't know what
15
to
people under hootenanny.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Do you have news bits for us?
I was just about to say, with that informative version of Webster's dictionary definition of various different
Cammy,
parties,
Hanley.
we might as
Bill.
well. Wait, Hanley.
Yeah, that's everyone. Carter, everyone, welcome to the chat. I think I've got everybody there. And Bree, welcome to the chat as well. I'm pretty sure that is everybody now.
We'll say you're kind of shocking everybody with the facial shave there, Giz.
Am I?
Yeah. There was talk about who let the child join the cast and was there parent consent.
Fuck you, Bill. Fuck. I'm right, aren't I?
Didn't even have to put a name on that one. All right.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
In his defense,
Yes, I know. You said you called me
He's not
12
wrong.
the first time you saw me with shaved
yeah,
face.
I wouldn't have thought a beard, like, I wouldn't have thought a beard would add so much age to someone or hide so much youth. I don't know what way you want to look at it.
Hang on, or
Hide
height? What?
so much youth.
Hi.
Oh, fair enough. Anyway, enough news about my face and onto
I
actual
won't lie
news
to you. I
bits.
think that's probably the biggest news bit.
Fuck's sake! Do I even want to know what's how? I'm going to take a quick.
Evidently, Cammy's
Okay,
your father, and he's
you know
given
what?
consent for you to be on the show, so that's fine. At least we're legally covered live.
I'm
Also,
pretty
in other news,
sure-
I didn't know Cammy was your dad. That's mad. I play games with your dad online.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not. Since I'm pretty sure my alpha doesn't actually play video games of any shape or form
Are you sure?
at all.
Did you ever hear him talking about zombies with a level of
100%.
infuriation that is indescribable?
Only if he sat down to try and watch The Walking Dead.
Say, yeah, okay.
We might have to get Maury involved to find out who's the father.
Just so you know, right? Legitimately, my old fella actually looks exactly like me, except without the sideburns and with a moustache and a little bit broader. And maybe half a head taller. So, you know. Anyway, on to the news.
Yeah,
bits.
sure. That took a weird tangent.
Well, I figured, you know, in case there was any kind of misconceptions or apprehensions or people wondering who the daddy was. Anyway, Netflix.
Who's your daddy and what does he do? Sorry, I had to get that out.
Once upon a time, he hurt people professionally, apparently, which was interesting. Anyway, Netflix have recently announced that they are going to be doing a brand new Godzilla series called Singular Point. This is going to have nothing to do with the previously released Netflix animated movies, which featured Planet of Monsters, City on the Edge. What the fuck is going on in the comments feed? I can only imagine. That's why
Cammy just wrote in the chat going, Pat's kids on head, it's okay, son. Sorry, continue. Sorry, Godzilla, single point. Sorry.
Ooh, Singular Point. Yeah, it's going to have nothing to do with the previous 3 Godzilla movies that Netflix did, which were kind of post-apocalyptic. The Earth is fucked. Humanity comes back to find out Godzilla and the rest of the monsters rule everything. Gojira. This new series is set to feature character designs by Blue Exorcist's Kazuo Kato, as well as a new Godzilla design by Ghibli animator Eiji Yamamori. So the series is set to feature a new cast and original story unrelated to the previous stuff, as I said. Anime studio Bones, in partnership with Orange, who did Beastars, Land of the Lustrous, will be producing the series combining hand-drawn and CGI and CG animation.
Just to
hopefully
clarify
we'll be getting
again, it's not affiliated to that other Godzilla anime thing that they had out on Netflix.
Yeah, no, it's completely different new story.
Nothing to do with
all
that
on its
at all
own.
whatsoever. Okay, that's fine.
Nope.
That's fine.
Nope.
It got
Even
it.
the
It
art
got
style is completely
I didn't have an
different.
issue with the art style, to be honest. It was the way.
I didn't have an issue with it. It was not my favorite.
I'll be honest, it got way too preachy by the end of it. It started off decent, by the end of it, it was just like, what the hell what are we watching? This isn't Godzilla.
I was kind of like on board with it, but yeah, like as it kind of started going on, I was like,
I got confused
okay,
when
I'm
it was
good.
Godzilla in space.
I'm
I
going
was
to
like,
regret.
what?
Right.
Right. Anyway, next story.
Sorry, got distracted.
I-
Get the fuck out of our comments feed
Can I
now.
throw a suggestion out, kids? I think
Go
for
fuck
the
yourself.
sake of the flow of the show, it would probably be best if you just stay out of the comments feed in general at the moment. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure it'll calm down by at least the midway point. Maybe. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
You're looking at me like
Anyway,
I orchestrated
next
this. I
story.
have nothing to do with this.
I'm not saying you orchestrated it. I'm looking at you like you're naive enough to believe the words coming out of your own mouth.
No, I'm not.
What
I'm
do you
handling it
know?
in politician ways. Pat's kids on head. It'll
Anyway,
be okay, son.
moving.
I said
It'll be
Pat's
what?
kids on head. It'll be okay, son.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, next news bit. Is something to do with the Addams Family. An
Sorry,
animated
needed that.
movie about the Addams Family.
Okay, so for those of you that caught the recent animated Addams Family movie and like myself thought it was fucking awesome because it basically worked as a prequel to the old 1960s series, good news, everybody! It seems that MGM are going to be bringing out a second one, which, to be fair, we kind of saw coming because that first film was really,
quite
really
enjoyable.
good. Director Greg Tiernan is set to return for The Addams Family 2, which is looking at being released 8th of October 2021 from MGM's United Artists releasing banner. Tiernan said of the film, the success of last year's animated film was proof of the enduring legacy of The Addams Family and its ability to transcend popular culture. This second film will be every bit as fun as the original. We are thrilled to welcome Bill Hader and Javon Walton, and to welcome back our incredible original cast for this exciting next chapter in the Addams Family journey.
Okay, so you said you watched the first one, right?
I did, yeah. I thought it's great fun.
Really? I kept putting it off. That's why I was asking.
It works literally as a prequel to the old 1960s series. It's
Okay.
them moving into the neighborhood for the first time, basically. And kind of, their first interactions with some of the people around. Hell, it even shows Gomez and Morticia getting married. It's great.
Shit, I'll actually throw that on then. All right. No, like I said, I hadn't seen any trailers for it. I just saw, like the whole, like what was it when the posters came out and shit. And I'm like, I'll get around to it, but it just never really fucking did. So.
Yeah, no, it definitely works. Interestingly, this new Addams Family movie will have an opportunity for a superfan to voice a yet-to-be-named character in the film by entering the Addams Family Voice Challenge, which is a global voiceover contest which runs from October 8th to November 4th in select markets. I don't know what that means. Interested applicants can visit addamsfamilychallenge.com to learn more about it and how to apply. So for those of you unfamiliar with the original or the first Addams Family film, had where is it? Yes, there we go. Charlize Theron as Morticia Addams, Oscar Isaacs as Gomez, Chloe Grace Moretz as Wednesday, Nick Kroll as Fester, Bette Midler as Grandma, and of course the infamous and fantastically well done Snoop Dogg as Cousin It, because he be a fucking pimp, biatch.
Pimpin' is pimpin'.
Oh, dude. You were winning me over with that cast list. I'm fucking Snoop Dogg.
He's brilliant, man. Trust me.
Really? All right.
It's Cousin It. Dude, it's Cousin It.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, yep, that's set to be released. All going well. God, it's this time next year. All going well. It'll be out. Ho ho. That's ha ha ha.
Only 12 months away.
I like that a lot.
One can hope. Like everything keeps getting kicked back lately.
Don't say that to him.
Yes, but the fact that it's
Don't break his little heart on here. It'll be out in 12 months. Don't worry about it, kids. I can't see any setbacks whatsoever.
I'm just saying, dude. I was recently heartbroken, so I just don't want him to feel bad.
No
So,
setbacks whatsoever. I feel it in my bones.
What did your heart break from?
I recently watched Happy Halloween, Scooby-Doo, and it hurt. It just fucking hurt.
why? It's okay. Go back and
You
watch it on
seem
the
very
island.
excited about it too, and you're like, "Oh, there's a new."
I do.
special."
No. Anytime some new shit comes out, I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan. But this last one, they kind of like really torched the characters to like almost an annoying level. So it just fucking hurt.
Batman's cancelled?
pretty much
It even had Elvira.
today.
Like that should have fucking been cool.
No,
Huh?
Sorry,
Cancelled.
what?
Bill just said Batman's cancelled.
Batman. No,
Ba-
Batman got
Oh,
pushed
okay.
back to 2022.
Jesus.
That just came out like a couple days ago. They released. I think I mentioned
I
something
knew it
on
got pushed
Tuesday
back. I didn't.
that they announced a
20
bunch of movies.
2022
That
is a
was-
serious fucking pushback.
Sure, no shit.
Well, it
Holy
was supposed to
fucking
come out till 2021, so
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
most movies are getting pushed back a year, so that'd be about 2022. They haven't even really started filming it yet.
Well, on the good news side of things, one film has apparently finished filming, and that will be a sequel to a movie that we reviewed very recently. Stephen Lang has tweeted, "A wrapped, splendidly rugged shoot. Thank you, Belgrade. All health and safety protocols observed to the latter. Well done, all. Hashtag and at Don't Breathe / Don't Breathe movie." So basically, what I'm saying is, Don't Breathe 2 is done filming.
Excellent.
Yay!
Don't Breathe 1 is awesome.
Right, but I mean, like, what the fuck are we doing with the sequel? Like,
he's
tracking her down. He never died, and he never got caught for any of the crazy shit.
I didn't say he fucking died. I just mean, like, there's some movies that like fucking are awesome right where they stop, and then there's gonna be like, you know, Don't Breathe 12, where it's just like some fucking deaf guy searching the fucking desert. Like, you're pushing it with a sequel.
Why would it be a deaf guy? That wouldn't make sense.
Or blind guy, sorry. Because they always get stupid with sequels, dude. Like, the first one was really fucking good, and I just don't want to see like them shit the bed on the sequel.
Actually, it looks like the sequel might not have anything to do with the first one insofar as follow-ups are concerned. Or maybe it does. Oh my God. No, that would be different. Okay. In Don't Breathe 2, the blind man has been hiding out for years in an isolated cabin and is taken in and raised a young girl orphaned from a house fire. Their quiet existence is shattered when a group of kidnappers show up and take the girl, forcing the blind man to leave his safe haven to save her.
So it's kind of like a blind version of Taken?
Or Blind Fury?
Blind Fury kind of makes a little bit more sense. What would that actually?
I really like the idea of the idea of the take. I really like the idea of the taken speech coming from a blind guy, though. That'd be amazing. I've got a very particular set of skills.
Whoa.
Seeing stuff isn't one of them, but other than that, I've got a very particular set of skills.
Also, just getting back to your point, when you think about it, and in all realism, Blind Fury is just an Americanized version of Zatoichi.
I'm not arguing that. I dig
know,
Red Hour, so it's like that's the first one I throw out there.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think considering the way things went in the first Don't Breathe film, the idea of him having to go out and in an environment that he doesn't know this time, it'll be interesting to see how he works around it. Because there was a couple of times in that first movie whereby they didn't have it being like he's super shit hot or anything. He made mess ups because he's fucking blind. You know?
Right. Home field advantage.
To a degree, there were occasions where even familiarity didn't work quite as beneficially as you might have thought. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see where it goes.
Because he wasn't some super fucking badass in his own house. He still tripped up.
But this
and
is a
shit.
different blind guy, am I correct? Oh, okay.
No.
Stephen Lang was the first one.
Except
he's
him.
adopted.
He's back.
He's adopted a kid.
I can't remember.
Is that it?
I don't think he adopted. He just there's a kid there. I'm taking you.
Yeah, he's living in an isolated cabin and living in an isolated cabin and is taken in and raised a young girl orphaned from a house fire.
Okay.
So yeah.
Right.
No word as to when that's going to be coming out, but like I said, if it's finished filming, then
could be 2022. Good times.
One of these years is going to be cinematic awesomeness, dude.
Just so you know, Jurassic World, the new film of that's got pushed back to 2022.
I heard a bunch of them got sick.
Like the dinosaurs?
No.
Yes,
people.
The dinosaurs got sick.
The dinosaurs didn't get sick, Buzz. They were hit with a meteorite.
Oh.
I'm sure they probably felt pretty sick watching the meteorite plummet into the ground, but like it was mostly large explosion that finished off the dinosaurs. I'm sorry to break it to you.
Well, no.
And the Ice Age.
I'm pretty sure which was caused by all the particulate matter, which would have made them get sick. So
yeah.
Right. Episode it's just breaking hearts.
Sorry, did you base your entire knowledge of the dinosaurs on that Disney movie? Is that what I'm picking up? Not
Which one? Which Disney movie?
One with the dinosaurs.
Okay,
Not
Ice
Before Time?
Age, Dinosaurs, the cartoon.
Well, Ice Age isn't.
Ice Age isn't
Disney,
dinosaurs.
That's DreamWorks.
The Land Before
Land
Time.
Before Time. There you go.
That's not Disney as well, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
That's Universal Studios. Don't get me fucking started.
Okay.
Oh,
Moving.
Yes, I base everything that I know about from Land Before Time. They had tree stars and sharp teeth
Yes.
and
Long necks.
Yeah.
long
yes,
necks and
Oh,
three horns.
That's also factually true. Yes.
That is all 100% fact.
Of course, none of them in that film would have actually been
Friends.
around at the
Can't be
time.
friends because of dinosaur
No.
racism.
I was going to say can't be friends because of millions of years of evolution and those species generally not being in the same time periods.
And there
Bill,
was
that was so fucking uncool. Dude.
Science.
So
There was
fucking
What? It's like saying cavemen were running around in dinosaurs. No, they weren't. It was millions of years apart, you
It
morons.
doesn't take away
Like,
from
who-
60
who's
million
being
BC, though. Do you know what I mean? Good movie.
Nor does it take away from The Land Before Time.
No, it doesn't. Good movie, so I've been told.
Carter, why are you upset?
Okay, so like my name keeps getting changed in the chat. I go by many names. I don't give a shit. Somebody says I look like, the Jesus looking guy, yellow shirt guy, Chad Kroger. That was a low blow and unfucking appreciated.
Ooh.
Hey,
Ooh.
I
hey,
answered
hey,
to a lot of motherfucking things.
hey,
but that
if
ain't
you
one of
don't
them,
look
right?
like Chad, you don't look
No
like
hate.
Chad Kroger.
I'm just saying that
I-
hurt.
I felt that over
totally
here.
agree with you. I totally agree with you. If it's any consolation, I got told I look like Brendan Gleeson's character from Braveheart, so
Brendan Gleeson's character from Braveheart got off with the cute, hot French chick.
oh yeah.
Thank you.
Chad Kroger is the lead singer of Nickelback.
I'm aware.
So that's,
Hey, they've
that's
had
the
at least
problem.
they've had
That's what
at
I'm
least
saying.
they've had
Two,
at
no,
least
three.
3 good songs.
I was told that I look like
I-
from Heart.
I
Not
admit,
Nickelback.
they do have the Decepticon theme song with "Burn It to the Ground," but
There's another there's another one where
Congratulations.
he gets caught boning a chick by her dad. It's a real song. I can't remember the name of it right now.
I'm sure
that's a good point, Bill. Bill did say that Chad Kroger rode Avril Lavigne.
That's
so
true. He was her skater boy for a while.
yeah, he didn't
He
see her
did
later.
not see her
boy.
later, boy. No.
I thought that song went.
Just
Are we
not.
still doing news?
I
What
don't
happened
know. We
here?
got
I don't know what's
sidetracked
going on.
completely.
news. It's all right. It's all right. I was finished the news, and it was actually perfect timing. I was finished talking just as this entire rant began. So I suppose we might as well move into the film review
Can we
section
call
of
it
tonight's
acceptable now that
debacle.
all of the name changing of the cast of the GoreCast has stopped for the rest of the thing, and possibly we also stopped doing the stuff about Giz because it's all getting very distracting. And I will start removing chats at the
They had stopped talking about me ages ago. So don't
no,
bring it
they
up again.
haven't. They just diverted onto.
It was the
They were
pop
very
back.
much talking about
Easy
you
with
up
me.
until the Chad Kroger movement happened, and then they moved on to the Chad Kroger thing. So we just, I feel an entire news segment is plenty of time for everyone to get it out of their system. It's all done now. Carter wore a yellow shirt one time. Giz shaved. It's all been done. Good stuff.
What
I
film
was
are we starting
thinking,
with?
I didn't know what way I wanted to go. I was like, will I go chronologically? Will I go by order of soundtrack? Or will I go by order of movie? I think I went by order of movie. But that also may be in order of soundtrack. No, it's definitely not in order of soundtrack. I went in order of movie. That's what the way it is.
So that'd be The Craft then.
No.
First.
End with the good one. Start with
Not
Yeah.
released.
Start with the poopy one. End with the good one.
So
We're
what film
starting
are we
with Queen
starting
of the
with?
Damned. It's
Right,
just her
I
sweet
mean-
because it's not the poopy one. It's just that it's not the. I have a love of the books, so I have issues with this movie.
So,
Queen of the Damned is what we're starting with. I just need to.
There we go.
There we go. I was trying to tease it out. I was trying to get it out there. Queen of the Damned.
I legitimately didn't know what you were
Okay.
talking about.
Right, and I'm like, voluptuous. I'm like, I'm trying.
I'm not phased. I don't care.
That's good to know, dude. I'm very happy. Okay, so
I'm
in
prepared for all of
2002,
it.
the kind of sequel to Interview with a Vampire came out called Queen of the Damned, which, if you're an Anne Rice fan, you'll probably have been quite confused going through the movie because you would have found that, in fact, it's not the Queen of the Damned book the movie's based on. It's the Vampire Lestat book the movie's based on, with Queen of the Damned, Akasha smushed in there to get her up.
Wow, so like they just completely
Oh yeah,
fucked
yeah.
that up. Then?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Realistically,
Like, there's-
and literally, it is the Vampire Lestat with a little bit of salt and pepper of Queen of the Damned in there for good measure.
Oh,
And
shit! All right.
there was one piece that they could have put in there from the start of the Lestat book that would have tied it in to Interview with a Vampire and kept the integrity of Interview with a Vampire. And that's when that scene at the start where like he introduced himself, he says, "I am the Vampire Lestat," and they all start laughing. The reason they're laughing isn't because he claims to be a vampire. They're laughing because he's claiming to specifically be the Vampire Lestat, and then one of them throws him a copy of Interview with a Vampire. He reads it and just, "Louis, let me
Okay.
teach you what a real vampire is, as opposed to that fucking manic depressive twat." Because he, like, Louis' entire shtick is that, "Oh, I'm a vampire. Oh, I'm a vampire," and Lestat
Okay,
is like,
see-
"I'm a
Yeah.
vampire."
I kind of wondered why there was like no tie-in. I guess like I just kind of took it as like, well, I mean, like this is another Anne Rice book, so I guess you're just supposed to assume. But it, like, you know how
It's a
when you
direct
see
sequel.
films, you never really like you usually get like a tie-in, a character or a statement, and it was weird not to get any of that from Interview with the
Yeah.
Vampire.
And like I said, all they needed to do is just basically have one of the characters toss him a book that says "Interview with a Vampire." A few minutes later, have him read it and just go, "Louis," and then off to the races. But that and a bunch of other stuff is just.
Here, this is it's funny because we were recording our vampire episode for American Horrors today, so I have all of this fresh in my head. It's one of those weird movies where, and you hear me say this to kids on a regular basis about TV shows and things like that, where it's like, I'm aware there's literature there, but sometimes we just need to forget about the books and we just need to step out of it. And as not an Anne Rice novel, it's an okay vampire movie. It's still not a great vampire movie. It's an okay vampire movie.
Okay, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
I
watched
agree. Yeah.
Interview, and like so like everything was just I don't want to say normal, but like the vampires looked normal-ish compared to Queen of the Damned, with the sparkly kind of the makeup that each vampire had like around their eyes was weird.
Well, they had their eye color. Like in Interview with a Vampire, in the original one, their eye color was almost jaundiced looking. It was yellowy.
Yeah,
whereas
but here it was more
in Queen of the
silvery kind
Damned-
of.
Well, I think that's more the cinematography. If you look at the way that this film is done, it is very shiny.
Yeah,
Overall in the aspect of it, and that's partially because, like Johnny keeps saying, it's basically a bunch of music videos strung together. When you go to the eyes themselves, the only note you get is when they're drinking. Sometimes they'll go red. So they did that
they're
differently. But
eyeballs. But I just mean like
Yeah.
whatever you would
Yes.
call just I don't know
the,
really
the,
makeup,
the irises,
but, no, like around the eye,
just
like they
yeah.
all kind of had like this glittery silver.
I think that was
speck.
just kind of the makeup that was supposed to be on them of the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of
This was one giant Korn.
Yeah, I actually said that in the article.
That's
That
what I
this
got out of
really ended up being several music videos. That, admittedly, there's a storyline to the music videos that's kind of inherent to the movie. Never really gets mentioned much. It does get mentioned, never fully explained much. You need to really go through it. There's
Well,
one little
no,
bit where she picks up on the line about the fucking bar, and
that's
she's away to the races with that, and that's it. But there's actually way more in other songs.
yeah, but Lestat does it at times. Like when
Yeah,
they go to do the gig.
Lestat openly admits that he's given away vampire secrets, but they don't get into the full tie-in of some of them, is what I'm trying to say.
And what I'm trying to say is they do get into the tie-in of one or two more of them at the gig when the stands are like, I mean, there's one of them is like, this one's dedicated to all those who are looking for me. And the song, if you listen to the lyrics, is basically a challenge. It's an open fucking challenge. Come get me.
Yeah, that's not the one I'm on about. I'm on about the ones that are.
I know that's not what you're on about. I'm saying that's an example of somewhere else in the film where a song is explained, as opposed to just when the Thalamaskin figures out that he's giving away vampire secrets and she's doing her little dissertation.
Yes.
As to them being all kind of the eye thing, I think that might be because in the Anne Rice books, the older a vampire is, the paler their skin becomes, to the point that it's the reason why Akasha, the kind of vampire goddess, she's a marble statue. It's it's because I remember reading one of them, Pandora, and basically when one of them stood still and closed their eyes, you'd actually think that they were a marble statue until they moved, and it's part and parcel with as they get older, the skin tone just fades away and they become more statuesque, literally like polished marble, to the point that it kind of would have that slight sheen to it. They actually would look like a statue. It's not just a very pale person. So it might have been the effect that they were going for.
I guess so. I guess it just, for me, it just didn't transfer well. When you look at like Interview with the Vampire, yeah, there was dark around their eyes and they looked, I don't want to say dead, but they definitely looked different from the people around them. Here it was kind of like a fucking more based rockstar video / prequel to Twilight, with just the kind of silver around the eyes.
You hit the nail on the head with bass rockstar music video, because that's like literally, you are movie opens, he gets up out of a coffin, he goes, "Oh, I could feel there's a difference in the world now, blah 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 blah." He hears some rockin' fucking metal music and he's kind of like, "That tickles my pickle, let's go check that out. I'm dressed a little bit. What should I do?" Then conveniently, the most pimpin' of pimpins walks by and he's just like, "That'll do, pig." Murders that guy, leaves the shirt out.
Right, nice little Terminator moment right
leaves
there.
Leaves the shirt out of the equation because vampires don't wear shirts. I didn't know if you knew that, but rockstar vampires don't wear shirts. He goes in, does the whole little conversation with the band, and then it's music video, vampire murder, music video, vampire murders.
And I gotta say, they took that shit really well, by the way.
Well,
the vampire news. But as I said, I think that as I said, I think that goes to what I was saying a while ago. The scene that it's taken from in the books, because they do start laughing and all the rest of it. But in the book, I think it works a little bit better because, like I said, he's naming himself. It'd be like someone walking in and going, "I am Count Dracula." I'm wondering why everyone starts laughing, because he actually is Vlad Tepes and has no idea that popular culture has grown up with shit about him. So in this case, it's supposed to be that, there actually is a vampire Lestat in this very famous vampire book.
It's meta.
And like you were saying,
it takes the fact that the book happened in the real world and makes this happen in the really real world, where people have read the book.
But once again, without that fact being mentioned in the movie, it does seem like they're taking this whole vampire thing ridiculously well. It's kind of, and I think probably because, I'm going to make all your dreams come true. He's a vampire. He's immortal. We're a band. We're playing metal music. Yeah, that can probably get us some fans and some money.
And he's also able to do that.
I was going to say, and there's the whole living forever part, which does tend to be somewhat appealing.
It would be nice to be able to.
I like the I like that part.
I gotta say though, like if we're comparing Lestats, I definitely like Tom Cruise's a lot better than fucking Townsend's.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
He's a lot more on the money. Well, although, have you read The Vampire Lestat?
I've not read any of his books. I'm just going by movies.
Yeah, he's quite Vampire Lestat. He's just not
Townsend.
Stuart Townsend. Yeah. Like,
see, this is where things get a little bit meta again.
Yep.
Because Tom Cruise Vampire Lestat is Louis' portrayal. Louis' retelling of him, whereas Queen of the Damned, it's actually Lestat. So, like, as I said in the book, he reads himself in the book, and even he's like, "This is how you see me, Jesus, you fucking manic depressive child.
I am not.
This is how you see me. What the fuck?"
Are you listening to this goddamn rat sucker? Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Which kind of validates and
Let me show you what real vampires are like. Bam, leather
thing,
shirt. Bam, leather pants. Bam, violin. Bam. Wow.
I do feel that one thing, if they had left it in there, would have been a fantastic piece of A, recognizing that this is a direct sequel, and B, explaining why the humans, like Carter was saying, take the news that this 200-year-old vampire just walked into their lives. Clearly he's an actual vampire. These guys feed on people. We're people. We should be more afraid.
That's kind of the cusp of the story as well, is that he realizes that it's kind of okay for me to go, I'm a vampire now, without people trying to light me the fuck up on fire.
And once again, part of that mentality is supposed to be due to Lestat seeing a book with him in it, and then seeing all this other literature and all these other examples of how vampires have gone from, something that nobody even knew about to being pop culture references.
Just to clarify, you think all this is awesome and you don't want to set me on fire? Is that what I'm picking up? Yeah.
Dude, we
Well,
don't even think you're real.
They're also a metal band. I mean, metal bands would be on board with the whole vampire thing. If there was like a pop group like NSYNC, then it'd be a different story.
Perhaps, or maybe they're already vampires. Have you thought about that?
Very good chance they're already vampires.
I kind of liked it.
Let's face it, those bands skew towards younger kids, and as we all know, the younger you are, apparently the more vital your blood is.
I'm going to retract my statement, because if you've seen any photos of NSYNC recently, they're definitely not vampires.
Okay.
I will say, though, I thought it was funny, like, after later in the movie, when everything goes sideways for Lestat at the Burning Man concert, the newspaper shows band moves on without him. They're not moving on. That's like a month away from breaking up. They don't have that same ability to fucking move the way they were moving with him. I just kind of had to fucking laugh. I'm sorry.
I think that was probably because, we can stick around with him, or we can not get et by the rest of our people, which apparently is a thing. Who knew that was a thing? Lestat, he's been saying it the whole time. Yeah, but we thought he was taking the piss.
Oh yeah, no, like, I understood why they fucking got out of Dodge. It was just funny how, like, band moves on without him after he leaves.
Yeah,
that band ain't moving on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Being vampiric meant that they could play their instruments a lot faster. So,
did you ever see
maybe
them get? Did you ever
meet their new singer?
Story. Did you ever see them get turned?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They reacted. They were always like
you
the human minions.
Get turned. Like he sent,
because
like if you think about the press conference at the start for the tour, he sends the band out. He does it by video.
Yep.
They had fangs at one point, didn't they?
Probably prosthetic fangs. They're in a vampire band, for fuck's sake.
Oh. All right. Okay. Fine. I was wrong.
Okay. Yeah. So look.
Not the first time.
Whole thing with Queen of the Damned. Sum it all up. It's a fun little vampire movie. It's not a great adaptation of any of the Anne Rice novels that it represents, but it's a fun little vampire movie that, if you can kind of forget all the Anne Rice associations, it's a fun little vampire movie. And as I said, my choices this week were very much house party music infused, as well as just the movie within. And this is, like, if I was going by soundtrack, this would probably be my number one, because this is literally just one walking, talking soundtrack with some movie segments in between.
I have played pretty much every track off this album point while DJing, be it fucking in a disco or on the radio or whatever the hell else. Actually, tune into the Metal Show this weekend, or tomorrow night, because a bit of fucking kidney thieves being played.
I was going to go into the trailer, but first, Bill just said they need a porn film, vengeful vampire vaginas, where female vampires seduce men and drain blood through their dicks using their vaginas, which have fangs.
I mean,
I'm
dude, they
surprised
did
that
the
hasn't
movie.
been done yet.
Actually, Giz,
No,
Giz.
they did the movie Teeth, so like that's just the
Giz,
next
quick question.
evolution thereof. Because Teeth, old girl had like the monster
Carter,
down
hang on
there
a minute.
that would like
Carter, I need to go.
decapitate.
Carter, I need to go to my
people.
R&D department for a second. Giz, does this movie exist?
Well, he's right about the film
I'm
Teeth. for
very
one thing.
aware that Teeth
Thank you.
exists. And I'm very aware of the similarities between certain areas. I don't know why I'm being tactful about it now. I just read out verbatim what Bill had written.
I
feel
like
like-
P's and Q's.
I feel like this is the next step evolution
Yeah,
that we need
but,
to see out in the world, bro.
Let's just say that I have seen blood being drunk from interesting places.
Yeah, but were they in a...
Not being drunk by
Were they
unusual
penises?
orifices.
The closest I got was Grub Girl, and she was a zombie.
Okay. Well, while we all stew on that, what you should all do is turn your lights down really quickly and come join myself and the lads over in the cinema room where we're going to go watch a trailer, and then we'll be back where we're going to be talking about 2003's Freddy vs. Jason.
It's a fear that turns to horror. The irresistible vampire Lestat. A presence so powerful, it has awakened an ancient evil. Akasha, Queen of the Damned.
She takes pleasure in only one thing: destroying life, human and immortal alike. Let her come.
Come out, wherever you are. I've come to give you the world.
We are the powerful. We should walk fearless in the open.
Lestat has joined with Akasha. He's lost to us now.
Step aside. Never.
Join me or die.
All she wants is hell on earth.
We must fight Akasha.
Queen of the Damned.
Come out, wherever you are.
Sorry for the fucking holy moly. Sorry for that. My fingers got stuck. I didn't know what was going on there for a second. Right. In all of the talk about the messing up of the books and all of that kind of thing, and then getting very distracted by Vampire, the JJs from
Everything.
Mars or whatever it was called.
Your vagina.
Yeah, that one. We forgot to mention that Aaliyah was in this movie as well. I believe it was like the last project she worked on before the unfortunate plane accident, which I really liked her character in this. I thought she was a good...
Yeah, no, I mean, like, because this was probably her, like, third or fourth film. So, I mean, like, she had already showed she had the ability to act. You know, she did that movie with Jet Li.
Yes,
You know, so, like, she was a good actress, really good singer.
Was she in Romeo Must Die?
She was.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because she, like I said, she did 2 or 3 fucking movies, you know.
She had a nice costume in the film, too.
Yes, that's very true.
Thumbs up.
As Akasha? Well, yeah, I mean, she's basically an Egyptian vampire goddess.
She is an Egyptian vampire
we're gonna-
goddess.
Yeah. I liked how remember how I mentioned earlier that in the books the vampires, the older they get, the more marble-like they become. Their skin basically becomes like marble. Whereas for Akasha, it was actually more like copper I thought that was kind of a very cool change on it. I'm not sure if that's the way that she's described as being in the books. Like I said, I've read books whereby Anne Rice's vampires, the older they get, they're described as being marble. But I thought that was a nice touch. Even later on, when her death scene, her skin tone, the way they have it shifting through gradients of copper before eventually blackening and stuff. Visually, I thought it looked very good.
Dude, visually it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Damn was her second movie. She did something called Room 213 in 08. So she got like 3 movies in.
Okay, so next up, 2003. We have Freddy versus Jason, which was
best comedy of 2003.
It wasn't a comedy. It was
yes,
the slasher movie's equivalent of a kaiju movie.
It was a comedy.
It was Godzilla versus King Kong.
It was Godzilla. Yeah, it was.
We're not here to see story.
100%.
We're here to see fights.
I don't give a monkeys what happens to the Japanese populace of the town. I just want to see the big 2 monsters murder each other.
Right. And by God, we got just that.
Oh my God, did we get just that?
Fucking awesome. Holy shit.
For those of you unfamiliar with the story, just a basic roundup. Freddy has been gone for a while.
Freddy has been gone for a while, and Freddy wants to come back. Freddy has found a way to talk to Jason, and he's using Jason's adept murdering skills to try and reinstill the fear into the little town from whence he came. But unfortunately, it goes all tits up when it turns out that Jason's adept murdering skills are, for lack of a better description, cock-blocking Freddy from getting any fucking action.
Oops, Freddy done unleashed a murder machine and then cried when the murder machine didn't stop murderizing everyone.
Yep.
Right. Because if they're dying, then I can't get my shit going.
Exactly. There is some loose story about kids figuring out that Freddy is a thing, and the cops once again trying to cover it up and can't cover the fact that Jason is turning people into pretzels and folding them inside out and using them as scarecrows.
Which is pretty much like the marker for every Nightmare on Elm Street film. The kids believe, everybody else doesn't. Eventually, we fucking get all on the same page, and then it's the toe down with fucking Freddy.
I love how loosey goosey the rest of the plot for this movie is outside of it. It's just kind of like, okay, so they definitely met in hell, because I remember Jason goes to hell and we see the Freddy claw, so we have that. And Freddy needs people to be scared of Freddy to exist, otherwise he doesn't. But Jason doesn't need that. Jason just needs horny teenagers. Okay, perfect. How do we get the horny teenagers wrapped up in the mix? Freddy killed one of their moms. Nobody knows, except for 2 kids who figured it out, that we've made it look like they're fucking crazy now, and they were getting stalked in the dreams by Freddy, but now we just keep them doped up in a mental asylum. How does that sound? That's pretty ropey. But then Jason and Freddy start killing each other. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
The one thing that drove me crazy,
2 chicks were sold. And Captain Isabel.
That drove me crazy in this movie is the fact that Freddy uses water against Jason because he's afraid of it, even though throughout all the Friday the 13th movies, that's not the case.
Jason ain't afraid of nothing.
No, well, okay, but
the water was more of a large wet.
Like he drowned in it, so like that kind of was his weakness.
How?
As we found, it was his weakness, as we found out in what was that? We just talked about it on the other show where dear old dad threw the chain and like dragged him down to the water.
Part 7, but that's not his.
There we go.
His weakness is bad story plot and can't figure out how to end a goddamn movie.
That was kind of my point. That was kind of my point. There's always that weird fucking spot.
In Freddy's defense, he was pretty much tapped into Jason's subconscious, the most basic part of Jason's mind, which was a terrified, scared kid who drowned in a lake. From that point, Freddy is able to go, okay,
hang on,
drown in the lake.
Hang on.
But
the only reason he knew to do that was because Jason had a minor freak out when he walked near the mini waterfall that was now coming down in front of Freddy. which he shouldn't have had.
Yeah.
He should have just walked through that.
Okay. But, I mean, like from the very beginning, though, like his last terrifying moment before becoming this monster Jason was drowning in the fucking lake. Yes or no? So I mean, like,
yes,
Yeah,
but that's not
unfortunately
that's
he's through water in every other Jason movie.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, it may have been his downfall, but that's not his fear.
No,
and
the
Freddy
lads are-
goes against your fear.
The lads are right. If they had done it in such a way that Freddy saw Jason as a kid drowning and then tapped that, and as a result, then he could make Freddy or Jason afraid of water, fair enough. But they didn't do that. So yeah, you're right. Johnny's right.
Or Carter. I just
not right.
corroborated. You're all right. I only corroborated their thing. Look, they needed
It shouldn't. It didn't make sense, and it shouldn't
They
have worked.
needed the duality of the two of them because essentially Freddy's fucking scared of fire.
Fire and water.
Yeah, I mean, I get that part of it. Yeah.
Scorpion versus Sub-Zero.
Most importantly, this had a wicked soundtrack. Stick it.
It did. Once again, another soundtrack that was regularly on my playlist when fucking DJing in Lexus or wherever else, because there's just so much metal.
Just pull up the article because I have the soundtrack. We had El Nino, Killswitch Engage, Spine Shank, Mushroom Head, Hate Breed,
Yes,
Slipknot,
El Nino.
Chimera, From Autumn to Ashes, Seven Dust, Power Man 5000, Murder Dolls, Seether, Stone Sour, Devil Driver, Sepultura with Mike Patton, the Blank Theory, Nothing Face, In Flames, Lamb of God, Typo Negative. Wicked.
A bunch of 2000s metal goodness.
Metal.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was
metal.
I will say though, like as far as the cast goes, I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" I really had like no care
Catherine
for any
Isabel,
of them.
I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
My highlight.
Couldn't have given a monkeys about the blonde chick. She could have got murdered in scene one for all I cared.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, like Catherine.
Your one
I'll
from
give you
Destiny's
Catherine
Child
Isabel.
had no place fucking Freddy Krueger out of it the way she did.
Right.
Destiny's Child.
Right.
That
I
was
was
dumb. I hated her. Yes, Kelly Rowland.
Yeah,
I fucking hated her.
I don't hate you
in
as a
that
person,
movie.
Kelly, but I wasn't a big fan of your input into the movie.
No, just your character was not.
Is she a bitch? Is she not a bitch? What is it? I don't know.
Like,
what are we doing?
She
was bitchy.
Just the aggressiveness that one scene that drives me crazy is when she's like trying
That's
to
literally
talk
what I was
down
just talking
Freddy,
about.
and he's
Yeah.
and that was
That
just
wouldn't happen.
like
That wouldn't happen.
so dumb.
That's not the way. That's not the way Freddy movies
You know,
work.
one of my disappointments was Zach Ward's in it.
I love
and
Zach
I
Ward.
dig the shit out of him, dude. But he's never never really in any film long. You look at like Resident Evil, he fucking died like 10 minutes into it. This
He follows me on Twitter, and that's really cool.
Follows us
I know,
too.
same here, right? But like I just wish he was in more shit. You know, like I dug him on Titus and shit like that.
Can
but
I
as
can I
far-
take a pause? Can I take a pause break for a
Titus,
sec? Just
sorry.
to fucking Titus was one hell of a fucking show. I used to love that.
Fucking
fucking
love
show,
that
man.
show, dude.
So good.
free on YouTube, dude. I'm actually like catching up, like rewatching that shit.
So good.
Yeah,
Stupid
he
Fox
is
Network.
one of
and
the
canceling it.
mental patient guy's brothers who also presumably died via
Yes.
Freddy-related circumstances.
Jason Ritter's or older. No, it was not Jason. It was
John Ritter.
Well, because it was John
It's-
Ritter and then
it's-
Brandon Fletcher. They
Brendan
both escaped.
Fletcher. Hang on. Brendan Fletcher plays Mark Davis. Zach Ward plays Bobby Davis, Mark's older brother.
Thank you. I remember him being the older brother. I just couldn't remember which one. So like my biggest disappointment is like anytime I see him in a movie, it's not enough. Like there's just not enough Zach Ward in it.
There isn't a particularly, as we kind of gave you a rough idea earlier, there's not a lot of plot to get into with this, which I saw people complaining about, and I'm just like, when the fucking plot was there in any of the other fucking movies? Sorry, like in fairness.
But yeah. What the hell
you know
were
what I
you
mean?
expecting?
Number one,
If anything, there's probably more plot in this movie than there is in any of the other ones.
Which might have been a bit of its downfall.
There was some good kills in it. Like oh boy
Folding
getting
up in the bed
folded
was
up in
really
the bed.
good.
I found that
the
slightly.
massacre, the Catherine the
Cornfield
Cornfield Massacre was
Massacre.
good. Catherine Isabella's murder, which is technically also the Cornfield Massacre, but she was Freddy Krueger murder. But no, she wasn't. She was Freddy Krueger initially, and then Jason fucking mashed her to bits.
took her.
She's mine.
Not anymore.
The Jason Freddy fight. Look, the movie's worth it just to see Jason and Freddy. 'Cause, man, when they get into it, goddamn.
Yes.
And it's not one of those stupid. It's literally, as I said, it's like a kaiju movie. It's not one of those stupid little 5-minute fights that you get at the end and then everyone figures out how to kill Freddy and Jason. This is a 25-minute slog fest between the two.
They're two separate.
They fucking kick the shite out of each other.
Freddy is so.
There's the fight. There's the fight in the dream world, and then there was the fight in the real world at the end.
It's there's a computer game called Terrordrome. I don't know if it's still knocking around or not. I know they were planning on doing a sequel there for a rhyme, but yeah, Terrordrome is like a beat 'em up game, and it was the first time I remember being able to play as Jason kicking the schnit out of Freddy, although he was a bastard at times.
Sometimes.
And then Mortal Kombat came along, and that kind of stepped on Terrordrome's neck a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Right.
Just a little bit. Anyway,
Yeah, and I will admit, dude, I love the cockiness of Freddy as he was like, "Oh, I got this, bitch. Hold my beer."
Yeah.
Very good. Anyway, we will cut to a trailer for Freddy vs. Jason. Then we'll be back where we're going to be talking about our last one, which is a fine installment into the witch category from 1996, which is witches. It's The Craft. Yeah.
Dozens of children would fall by my blades. When I was alive, I might have been a little naughty, but after they killed me, I became something much, much worse. The stuff nightmares are made of. The children still feared me, and their fear gave me the power to invade their dreams. And that's when the fun really began. Until they figured out a way to forget about me, to erase completely. I had to search the bowels of hell, but I found someone who'll make them remember. He may get the blood, but I'll get the glory. And that fear is my ticket home.
I need you to go to Elm Street. The children have been very bad on Elm Street. Rise up, Jason! Your work isn't finished! Hear my voice and live again!
back where you belong!
And that is the extended cut, evidently, for the.
I was like, we watched the trailer.
Yeah,
or we
yeah,
watched
I
the
was-
movie.
I
didn't want to say anything.
I was getting those vibes myself. I won't lie to you. I was getting those vibes myself.
Did someone accidentally put on the best scenes of instead of a trailer?
No,
Oh, fucking work.
I did not.
But yeah, no, I think it's clear to say that Jason versus Freddy is not going to be winning any kind of cinematic or storytelling awards. However,
Neither were any of the.
if you're looking
Well,
for
uh,
if you're looking for the horror equivalent of King Kong versus God's damned Godzilla, this is your jam.
This is it.
This is what you want to be
Hands
watching
down.
with a
Dude,
fucking heavy soundtrack that is awesome.
Speaking of heavy soundtracks,
Like the only thing that I've ever actually liked seeing this was another one. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it actually had like Frankenstein versus like the Mummy, but they were in like a fucking wrestling ring, and I can't remember the name of the fucking
Monsters
movie.
Brawl.
Monsters Brawl.
There we go. Like to me, it was just that. Like you finally got to see like the big throwdown between people you've been wanting to see for a long time.
That was painful.
Monsters Brawl.
Painfully cool.
I have a sick
Like,
love of that movie.
Come on.
I have a sick love of that movie.
Fucker, I did. I'm still looking for a copy of that motherfucker.
Okay. Anyway, next up we have, and lastly, should I say, we have The Craft from 1996. I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You're correct.
tells the story of a girl who moves to a town, and that town's got a school, and because of legal restrictions and the way things go, she's got to go to that school. So she goes to that school. She's got a little bit of witch powers. Not a lot of witch powers, but she's got a little bit of the shinning going on. You know what I mean? And there's 3 witches there who are trying to find a 4th for their coven, who don't have a whole lot of power. They can make some stuff kind of happen, but they don't have a whole lot of power. And then it turns out that she does have power. And then they're like, hey, do you want to join our coven? And she's like, sure. And then they do loads of crazy witch shit. And then someone...
I kind of feel like she was really the battery for them, though.
She was literally, yes.
Well, if you look at it, right, the way I think of it is what they're trying to do is gain power. So if you look at that power as like this really exclusive club that only invites in members that have certain skill sets, they don't have the skill set. And then along comes Sarah, and Sarah has the skill set, and Sarah is hanging with them, and they have the knowledge. So they know all this stuff. She has the skill set. Skill sets get invited in. Knowledge gets invited in as skill sets friends because, why not? And so from there, from that point, they're able to do stuff as well. Not as well as she can.
I was going to say, I kind of felt like they more tapped off of her to be able to pull the shit off that they did, if that makes sense.
It's more like she had a natural ability to tap into the powers of the world, and through her, they kind of garnered some of that ability for themselves by being part of her ritualistic use of that power. They become implements of it, wielders of it themselves.
Because it's like, I don't know, as you look at their reactions as they're trying to do shit, I always got the vibe of like they were just kind of siphoning off of her, and that was kind of their bag. Like, But
Yeah.
her, like, oh, well, this is what happens. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, because we see them doing things on their own without her. So that implies that whatever else has happened, whether it's because she has come along and because of her, the power that's there has now granted them access as well. You know, and that's why they're able to do stuff. But she's naturally gifted, so she's always going to have more a bit of regard, which we see later on in the movie. That kind of went dead.
Yeah, no shit. Like,
sorry.
I can't say I was necessarily a big fan of this. I mainly watched it because of who.
I think this conversation came up in a previous episode where a lot of people apparently saw this film because either A, it caught them at the right age and, hey, look, there's cute teenage witches, or B, who they were going out with was into that kind of thing and, yeah, sure, I'll sit down and watch a film with you. Oh, look, there's some cute teenage witches too.
And that's kind of where I fell into it. Like,
Or
we
C, you have to cover it for a horror show. That's
Let's face it, you have to be beaten over the head with like a paper to watch anything at this stage. It's like, Bad Buzz, why have you not watched this yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, not gonna lie, it was one of those like, we're gonna watch this, and I'm like, I'm not gonna argue. Ooh, hot witch.
Well, I had a feeling it had to do with my comment last week where I said I didn't see it, and I had a feeling Johnny was.
No, we were originally going to do it. We were going to do it on Sunday show to tie in with the witches episode on American Horrors, but we cancelled due to the unfortunate passing of an American Horrors member. So I bumped it up to this instead because I was like, actually, there's a wicked soundtrack to this as well. So that was it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why, but the soundtrack for this one does not stand out as much with me.
I liked the soundtrack quite a lot. It's not like
It was
not heavy
good,
metal or anything,
Like,
but
Yeah, that's probably why it didn't pop for me. I
like
think.
it's good, but it just didn't like hit you in the face like say Queen of the Damned
you know,
did.
Queen of the Damned was a movie orchestrated around an album. Let's get something straight right now.
No, but I'm just like I'm agreeing with him because like when the first song comes on, like even if you're not like looking at the screen, it's like a punch in the face, and you're like, I'm sorry, what? And you just kind of get sucked into it. The Craft, it's got good music, but it's not something that really catches your attention.
I think if you enjoyed the movie, it drags you in a little bit more because you start kind of remembering bits. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's that opening theme song again? 'Cause I'm looking at the soundtrack
How Soon
here.
Is,
No, that's not it.
How
That's not
Soon
it.
Is
That's
Now
not
by Love Spit Love. That one.
Okay. No, I can't. For some reason, I just cannot get it in my head. Normally I'm pretty good at remembering music in my head, and for some reason, I'm just that one track. I'm like, I know this. I know this. And what's more important, I know that track was one of the reasons that a lot of people kind of got into the film because on the soundtrack, that's one of the few ones that does kind of pop at you, and it's further.
I would say that's probably one of the poppiest songs on it. 100%. Not,
but
it's by Our Lady Peace, right? Or is that
no? There's one called "How Soon Is Now" by Love Spit Love.
Oh, never mind. I was looking at it in order. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the theme tune. What's the name of the Our Lady of Peace one?
Tomorrow Never Knows. It's a cover of a John Lennon. It's a cover of the Beatles track.
Oh, it might be that. I can't remember. I can't remember which one's which.
Neither can I.
Yeah, it does say the opening sequence. The movie is shown. Yeah, so that would be the Our Lady Peace one is the opening theme.
The other big one that they have in it.
Well, that would explain why it pops so, because it's Our Lady Peace, and they're kind of more.
That's it. Grungy.
Yeah, grungy isn't the right word. And poppy. When I say pop, I mean like crowd pop.
Yeah.
Pop music.
Yeah.
You know, it catches your attention.
Jules on there on the soundtrack. Ooh.
Overall, though, it has to be said that The Craft definitely did wonders in terms of the Wiccan religion and in terms of people kind of looking more at witchcraft and
wonders
stuff,
may not
and
be
kind
the
of
word. I'm sure the Wiccan religion were kind of like, oh, who are all these assholes that are just what is going on?
Well, to be fair, hang on a second. To be fair, before that, there wasn't an awful lot that would have been known in regards to the Wiccan religion, because apart from the 70s, you know, the 80s didn't. I don't think it was.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying, as someone who say was practicing Wiccan for many, many, many years, post or pre-craft, and then the craft happened, and they're just like, oh my god, who are all these fucking assholes? Where did all these leather jackets come from? What the fuck is going on? My praying woods are ruined.
But I gotta say, those still, like, I'm gonna have to agree with him though, because it still did better than like what we had been shown up to all this.
Oh yeah,
other
no,
time,
100%.
It was automatic evil and witchcraft and all that.
In a cinematic
like,
way, it was.
It never really got like a good.
Yeah, in a cinematic way, it was very good. Like, people got a better understanding. Like, we discussed this in the American Horrors episode, where I was like, I really like how they properly explain how there's that balance of power that is kind of like, oh yeah, you could do all this shit, but it costs something. Do you know what I mean? It's not just like a fucking, you know, shit needs to even out. It comes back on you.
Straight off the board.
So, like, I can see what you're saying by everybody kind of going like, why? But in that same sense, it also brought a lot of people that hadn't known anything about that. Like, it actually kind of gave it a different face to it that wasn't the usual horror voodoo like mix of weird shit that just gets thrown into a movie.
And it was coming at a time when if you look at social trends, and by way of cinema and by way of TV shows, because that's the only way that I remember this stuff. If you look at the 90s, coming out at the end of kind of the 80s, where everyone was all about, I don't want to say all about themselves, but it was a very career-driven kind of, we're doing this, we're getting this done kind of decade, because Coke was up everybody's noses and it was all, oh!
Right.
And then the 90s
and
came
Ronald Reagan. And Ronald Reagan.
So then the 90s come along and everyone's kind of like, okay, well, that was fucking weird. What else is there? Let's calm down. Let's see what else there is there. And, you know, you had kind of more exploration into alternative musical styles, for one thing.
Do you
and you
think
get an explosion.
They went back to witches because it was like they were coming down off the coke and couldn't think of anything? Oh my god, this calm down is so fucking bad. We need a movie to release. We haven't done a movie in fuck. Oh Jesus. When's the last time we did a witch movie? Like what, 70s? Yeah, something witches. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. There's a load of new music that's come out since we were coked off our faces. Put some of that in there. I really don't care. My head is killing me.
Or in a time when people have really become disenfranchised with the notion of, you know, governments, capitalism, society being very much, you know, he who has the most stuff wins. Here is a film that explores nature, almost explores, you know, taking a look at the world around you, explores the idea that the religions and the way that the world you were told it is isn't necessarily the way that it is. And that very much fit into the time of the 90s in regards that there were a lot of people looking at the world differently and kind of going, well, fuck the way things were. You had people, once again, kind of turning their backs on traditional institutions. It was the start of people kind of walking away from religions, for one thing. You know, kind of going, well, you know, maybe all that crap you've been telling us this whole time is just an excuse for you doing stuff. Maybe we should look at older ways of thinking whereby, you know, we didn't have people telling us this is how we live our lives or bad stuff happens. We just kind of lived our lives because that's nature and that's the way the world works.
That was deep, man. That was deep. Anyway, be a little less deep. Sexy Witch is a good music. That deep. And we hadn't seen an installment in the Sexy Witch category in quite some time.
That's how deep I get.
It all worked out well. Some cool magic powers are exhibited. There's a nasty case of demon possession, albeit willing. Or not demon, kind of deity possession, albeit willing. And shit starts to get fucking crazy. All to a pretty wicked soundtrack, pardon the pun. Because witches.
And
wicked and witches.
God, how do you...
Anyway, on that...
What's her name? Teresa Bulk?
You're one from American History X?
She played Nancy. I've never seen American History X.
Oh, okay.
She was also in The Water Boy.
Yeah. What?
You haven't seen what?
Have you seen it?
I'm going to give that to you just because. So, like,
hang on.
wait,
Buzz,
wait.
Buzz, have you seen it? Buzz, have you seen it?
American History X.
I think so.
No.
I won't lie to you.
so.
You've
You
either
have or you
seen
have
American
not seen
History
that
X or you
film.
haven't. It's not a I think I saw it kind of experience.
Yeah. Now, I admit, perhaps you might get it mixed up with Romper Stomper, maybe, possibly, but then you've at least seen one of them, so my point is still valid.
I'll tell you what. Why Buzz follows and researches that. We'll hit the trailer for The Craft, and we'll come back and we'll let you know what's coming up on the rest of this week's GoreCast. And hopefully Buzz will have established has he seen American History X or not by that stage. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
To the other kids at St. Bernard Academy, they were the girls who didn't belong.
Whatever you do, stay away from them.
Why?
They're witches.
But after years of being on the outside,
Why'd you lie about me?
I don't want to go out with you again. Please, stop begging. It's pathetic.
4 girls are about to discover the dark side.
You ever heard of invoking the spirit? Black magic.
We can make things happen. I mean, this is it. This is real.
Columbia Pictures welcomes you to the witching hour.
Check it out. Her spell is working. Sit.
The Craft.
Girls, watch out for those weirdos.
We are the weirdos, mister.
And we're back. That's the trailer for the... Where is the... There it is. That's the trailer for The Craft.
The Craft?
No, I knew The Craft. I was trying to find the GoreCast logo plate to cover up.
Just briefly, yes, Kamikaze, that is the music from Charmed, because Charmed is the TV version of The Craft, basically.
It's PG Craft.
Yep. Pretty much.
PG-13.
Was The Craft rated R?
Oh.
Yeah, it's on
15.
Well, I mean, like, it had a PG-13 rating for violence, but it was on.
I watched the TV version, and that might have been maybe a reason why I didn't like it, because there was a lot of unnecessary editing of bad words.
Oh, you like the movie?
Yeah, the movie. That's what I thought we were talking about.
We were.
Yep. Anyway, that's the end.
Sorry.
That's the end of
yeah, The Craft was rated.
That's the end of this week's show. So you have a couple of suggestions there. So you have some soundtracks / movies to throw on the back of your party. You have Jason murdering some people, some awesome music going on. Not music, because that's terrible. It's elevator music. Music. That's the stuff that plays in elevators.
Music, shindigs.
Did you not know music is
names.
literally it's that kind of saxophone elevator music shit? It's essentially music but with a K and an A.
Yeah.
Music. Anyway, coming up on the rest of this week's GoreCast, myself and Gids are back Sunday, where we're going to be reviewing the 1979 shot-for-shot remake of Nosferatu. A really interesting movie from the 90s called Innocent Blood. It's essentially mafia vampires. And it's got...
Cosa Nosferatu.
God bless you. mafia vampires, and it's pretty much the majority of the lineup of The Sopranos, but in vampire form before they were Sopranos, when they weren't vampires. So there's that. And there's Rabbit from 1977. Did we drop? No, there isn't. It's Dracula, 1959. Yeah, 58. Bela Lugosi. Christopher Lee. I've shoved a lot of Dracula information into my head in a very short space of time today. I had notes. There was literally pages of notes. I literally took notes. There's a whole issue over that. You're going to have.
He did a whole history section and everything.
So that all ties into the fact that this Sunday on American Horrors, 8:30 p.m. CST, and whatever that equates to as GMTs, myself and kids are going to be going into our second part of our cinematic horror Halloween retrospective of some of cinema's most famous icons, with a bit of a Halloween-y vibe. This week it's vampires. And that's it from myself, Giz, Buzz, and Carter. We'll catch you all next week where we're going to be talking about some other mad horror bollocks. Make sure to tune in on Sunday, but first, trailer, where some explanation about what happened to Giz's face is going to be delivered. I hope whoever was talking shit in the chat stays, because this is your explanation. There's no more explanations happening. This is it. Be all and end all. No more of that now.
No, they'll also have to watch the episode when it comes on to get the full explanation.
I'm sure they can get the gist of it from where. Oh, more people tuned in just to see what the explanation is. Okay, cool. We're going to get to the video explanation about why Giz's face is bald, and we'll join you next week where we're going to be talking about some mad horror bollocks GoreCast.
Hearing the name of all this Jonathan Harker's Giz, I picked a goddamn cemetery, so we go search for vampires. No trouble, unlike last week. Seems like the most logical place to start, and even show up on time. Typical.
What, man?
What the fuck happened to your face?
Well, I met this really cute goth chick in one of those sites that I like, and after a couple hours of consensual kinky blood play later, I fell asleep, woke up like this, so I figure I'm not a par.
Because you shaved your beard?
No, because, all my hair fell out. Look at any American movie, okay? Vampires aren't allowed to have facial hair. That and the fact that, blood...
It's more than that, you could just be a really well-groomed cannibal. I don't know. There's only one way to find out.
Hell, that's not a wooden stake.
I wouldn't take you out with a wooden stake. You're my best friend. You get some primate filet mignon there, my man.
I'm pretty sure that's not the way that works.
We might need to do a lot of research before next Sunday's episode. Join myself and the Giz this Sunday, 8:30 p.m. CST, and whatever that equates to as GMT is only on American Horrors, where we're going to be discussing part 2 of our cinematic retrospective of Halloween's most famous monsters. This week, it's vampires. Get the fuck off me, you mini gremlin.